Okay, imagine this for a second. You've got this huge rocket, I mean, basically skyscraper-sized. It's done its job in space, and instead of just tumbling back down, it does this incredible aerial maneuver. Engines firing, guiding itself down for a perfect landing. It's just amazing to watch. Now, picture that exact moment. It's a SpaceX Falcon 9 first stage coming in hot for landing. And then suddenly, you see this small kind of round object just dart across the video frame right past the rocket. And that's exactly what got everyone talking during the SpaceX CRS-10 mission. This all went down on February 19th, 2017. The launch was 2:38 a.m. Eastern Time. And the launch site itself, Kennedy Space Center's Launch Pad 39A, I mean, that place has some serious history. It's not just any old launch site, right? History was made there over and over again.
Oh, absolutely. Launchpad 39A is, well, it's basically hallowed ground for spaceflight. That's the same pad where the giant Saturn V rockets launched the Apollo missions, to the moon. And it's where the very last space shuttle mission lifted off too. So seeing a Falcon 9, which is all about reusable tech, landing back near there, it really connects the dots across decades of space exploration. But what's really intriguing, as you said, is during that landing, about 10 seconds into the video feed, this little unknown object just streaks past. It actually reminds people of a similar thing seen near another rocket, one that exploded on the pad the year before. Kind of eerie.
Right, so you have this peak engineering achievement at this legendary spot, and then this tiny, almost a glitch in the footage, a blink and you miss it thing. So our mission for this deep dive is to really, unpack what we know and what we don't know about this little mystery. This sighting during what was already a pretty spectacular event. We want to look at the explanations people have suggested and figure out why this tiny detail is still so captivating for so many. Okay, let's get in this Falcon 9 moment a bit more. You've got this super advanced rocket doing this almost perfect ballet move back to Earth, and then bam, this little photobomber shows up. The description is just a round-shaped object that passes the rocket. Naturally, you start wondering, is it space junk? Maybe a drone?
Yeah.
Or, something way stranger. It definitely makes you want to zoom in.
It really does. And this brings up something interesting about just watching things, about observation. When you have an event like a rocket launch and landing, it's documented like crazy, right?
Oh.
Every single frame gets looked at. Now, while nobody can say with 100% certainty what this specific blip was, the leading idea, after looking really closely at the video and all the mission data, it points pretty strongly towards it being, well, a piece of the rocket itself.
A piece of the rocket?
Yeah.
Really? That's the main theory. So, something that came off intentionally during stage separation, or maybe something else. I guess with these multi-stage rockets, there's a lot going on, a lot of bits and pieces involved in getting to orbit.
Precisely, yeah. If you think about how these launches work, that moment of stage separation, it's incredibly dynamic, very critical point. The Falcon 9's first stage burns through its fuel, then it detaches to start its trip back down. Meanwhile, a second stage fires up to push the payload, the satellite or whatever, towards orbit. During that whole complex separation process, things can come off, sometimes intentionally, like insulation panels or small connectors. Sometimes it might just be ice that formed on the super cold fuel tanks breaking away. So the hypothesis is that this object we saw was probably one of those pieces, just caught on camera for a second as the first stage descended. It's, a logical explanation, fits with how rockets generally behave, even if we can't point and say, it was that specific bolt.
Still wild to think about Launchpad 39A, where humans first left for the moon, now seeing these rockets come back down like ballerinas. And even tiny little specks like this spark global chats. And the fact it's not totally unique. You mentioned that similar thing near the exploding rocket the year before. That kind of fuels the debate, doesn't it? Does it mean it's a common thing, maybe related to the sheer forces involved? Or is it just, humans seeing patterns where there aren't any?
That's a really good question. Because these fleeting things, whether they're ice or insulation or maybe even a high-flying bird caught in weird lighting, they happen against this backdrop of immense energy and complexity. Rocket science itself involves things separating, flexing, hitting the atmosphere. Stuff happens. These events can create visual oddities sometimes. The mystery that lasts isn't necessarily about little green men. It's often about how hard it is to identify something definitively from a fast-moving, maybe blurry video clip. A single frame can be read in so many ways, right? And you don't always have all the context instantly. It just reminds you that even now, with HD cameras everywhere, a perfectly planned event can still have these little unexpected moments.
So just to recap where we started, we had the sheer spectacle of that Falcon 9 landing, a true modern marvel coming back to Earth. And then we zeroed in on that brief, really puzzling appearance of an unknown object, passing the rocket during its descent on February 19th, 2017.
Exactly. And while the most likely explanation, based on analyzing all the data we have, is that it was part of the rocket, maybe a bit jettisoned during separation, maybe ice, it is crucial, absolutely crucial, to remember that its exact identity isn't confirmed. It's not entirely clear. And that little bit of not quite sure, that ambiguity, that's often what really grabs people's interest.
It really does make you think about just watching things, doesn't it? Observation itself, even with events that are so heavily documented, like a rocket landing where you think every angle is covered. The universe, or maybe just our own tech doing its thing, can still throw these little curveballs at us, these moments that you can't immediately label.
Absolutely. And maybe consider this thought. Even in our age of amazing technology with high-def video capturing everything, the sheer scale and complexity of space and space travel, it can still give us these moments. Moments of, well, beautiful ambiguity, tantalizing questions. These are the moments that make you want to lean in, look closer, ask more questions, and realize that even when something seems clear, there's always more to see, and definitely more to understand about this incredible dance we're doing with the cosmos.